Welcome, spirits of Halloween, to the History and Mystery channel. I'm your host, Chronicler, and I want you to like and subscribe. Now that you have done that, I want to delve into the origins of Halloween, Samhain. And for this video, we made 5 chapters. Samhain, or as it is pronounced in Gaelic, Samhain, was the name of a festival that would mark the beginning of winter, and is one of the 4 Gaelic seasonal festivals. Samhain on November 1st, Imbolc on February 1st, Beltane on May 1st, and Lunasa on August 1st. The celebration of Samhain would begin on the evening of October 31st, since the Celtic day began and ended at sunset. Besides Samhain, Beltane was also of great importance to the herdsmen that were practicing seasonal transhumance. During Beltane at the beginning of summer, the cattle would be driven to the upland summer pastures. At the beginning of winter, during Samhain, the cattle was led back to survive the winter. According to Irish mythology, Samhain was the time when the doorways to the otherworld opened, allowing supernatural beings and the souls of the dead to come into our world. While Beltane was a summer festival for the living, Samhain was a festival for the dead. Some tales suggest that offerings or sacrifices were made at Samhain. For example, during each Samhain, the people of Named had to give 2/3 of their children, their corn, and their milk to the monstrous Fomorians. The Fomorians seem to represent the harmful or destructive powers of nature, personifications of chaos, darkness, death, blight, and drought. Legend says that the Named people believed that the sacrifice that they would make during Samhain would protect them from the powers of darkness and blight that are in the ascendant. For those that are interested, there are still many places in Ireland linked to the celebrations of Samhain that you can visit today. During Beltane and Samhain, the people of the land would lit bonfires on the hilltops and participate in rituals. The Gaelic celebrations were most common in parts of the Scottish Highlands, on the Isle of Man, in North and Mid Wales, and in parts of Ulster. Traditionally, only certain kinds of woods were used, but later records show that many kinds of flammable material were burned. It is suggested that the fires were a kind of imitative or sympathetic magic, mimicking the sun, helping the powers of growth, and holding back the decay and darkness of winter. They may have also served to symbolically burn up and destroy all harmful influences. Accounts from the 18th and 19th centuries suggest that the fire, smoke, and ashes were seen to have protective and cleansing powers. People also took the flames from the bonfire back to their homes. During the 19th century, in parts of Scotland, torches of burning specific woods were carried sunwise around home and fields to protect them. In some places, people doused their hearths fires on Samhain night. After doing that, each family would then relit its hearth from the communal bonfire, thus bonding the community. Dousing the old fire and bringing in the new may have been a way of banishing evil, which was part of New Year festivals in many countries. The bonfires were also used in divination rituals. Apples and hazelnuts were often used during these rituals. The apples and hazelnuts were also used in games to predict death and marriage. In Celtic mythology, apples were strongly associated with the otherworld and immortality, while hazelnuts were associated with divine wisdom. In Celtic mythology, the otherworld is the realm of the deities, and some would also believe the realm of the dead. In Gaelic and Brittonic myth, it is usually a supernatural realm of everlasting youth, beauty, health, abundance, and joy. It is described either as a parallel world that exists alongside our own, or as a heavenly land beyond the sea or under the earth. The otherworld is usually elusive, but various mythical heroes visit it either through chance or after being invited by one of its residents. They often reach it by entering ancient burial mounds, caves, going underwater or across the Western Sea. Sometimes they suddenly find themselves in the otherworld with the appearance of a magic mist, supernatural beings, or unusual animals. An otherworldly woman may invite the hero into the otherworld by offering an apple or silver apple branch. Samhain was seen as a liminal time when the boundary between this world and the otherworld could more easily be crossed. This meant that the spirits could more easily come into our world. Many scholars see the spirits as remnants of pagan gods and nature spirits. During Samhain, it was believed that the spirits needed to be appeased to ensure that the people and their livestock survived the winter. Offerings of food and drink would be left outside for the spirits, and portions of the crops might be left in the ground for them. People also took special care not to offend the spirits and sought to ward off anyone out to cause mischief. They stayed near their home, but if they had to go outside and face the darkness, they would turn their clothes inside out or carried iron or salt to keep the spirits at bay. In southern Ireland, it was customary on Samhain to weave a small cross of sticks and straw called a parcel or parsal, which was similar to the Brigid's cross and God's eye. It was fixed over the doorway to ward off bad luck, sickness and witchcraft, and would be replaced each Samhain. The dead were also honored at Samhain. The beginning of winter may have been seen as the most fitting time to do so, as it was a time of dying in nature. The souls of the dead were thought to revisit their homes, seeking hospitality. Their dinner table was set and the fire was lit to welcome them. In many cultures in the world, it is believed that the souls of the dead would return on one night during the year to be appeased. Disguises were part of Samhain. It was first recorded in the 16th century Scotland and later in parts of Ireland, Isle of Man and Wales. People went from house to house in costume or disguises, usually reciting songs or verses in exchange for food. It may have evolved from a tradition whereby people impersonated the spirits or the souls of the dead and received offerings on their behalf. Impersonating these spirits or souls was also believed to protect oneself from them. In Ireland, costumes were sometimes worn by those who went about before nightfall collecting for a Samhain feast. In Scotland, young men went house to house with masked, veiled, painted or blackened faces, often threatening to do mischief if they were not welcomed. Wearing costumes at Halloween spread to England in the 20th century, as did the custom of playing pranks. At the time of mass transatlantic Irish and Scottish immigration, which popularized Halloween in North America, Halloween in Ireland and Scotland had a strong tradition of disguise and pranks. Trick-or-treating may have come from the custom of going door to door collecting food for Samhain feast, fuel for Samhain bonfires or offerings for the spirits. It may have also come from the All Hallowtide custom of collecting soul cakes. The traditional illumination for geysers or pranksters during Samhain was provided by turnips hollowed out to act as lanterns and often carved with grotesque faces. They were also set on window sills. By those who made them, the lanterns were variously said to represent the spirits of supernatural beings or were used to ward off evil spirits. These were common in parts of Ireland and the Scottish Highlands in the 19th century. In the 20th century, they spread to other parts of Britain and became generally known as jack-o'-lanterns. Halloween is mostly celebrated in Ireland, the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Canada. As of today, it gained more popularity in Europe, Latin America, Australia, and Asia. In popular culture, the day has become a celebration of horror, being associated with the supernatural. Kids disguise themselves, and when it's dark, they go door to door for trick-or-treat. The teens or young adults disguise themselves as frightening as possible and go to Halloween parties. Some theme parks have Halloween-themed day or even month in October to attract the bravest people to endure the scary rides and themed grounds. During Halloween, cinemas feature horror movies and even entire towns might be decorated in Halloween-themed decorations. What will you be doing on this special day? Trick-or-treating? Horror movie night? Or ritual sacrifice? Either way, on behalf of the team, I want to wish you a happy Halloween.